This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good night, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for January 13, 2023. And in the news tonight, body found in river near Manchester-Clarendon border. Police are reporting that a body was found in Guts River Alligator Pond near the Manchester-Clarendon border on Friday. Preliminary reports are that mid-morning, the body was seen floating in the river as an area referred to as Alligator Hole, and the police were called. Detectives from the Clarendon and the Manchester police divisions are processing the scene. Reports suggest that the incident is being investigated as a suspected case of drowning. Fisherman charged with shooting with intent. A fisherman was arrested in connection with an incident on East Bay Drive on Saturday, August 13, 2022. 22-year-old Paul Ronaldson of Old Harbour in St. Catherine is charged with shooting with intent and using a firearm to commit a scheduled offense. Reports from the Portmore police are that about 8:40 a.m., an argument developed with the complainant when it is alleged that Ronaldson opened gunfire at the complainant. The complainant managed to escape and made a report to the police. On Saturday, the accused was handed over to the police and was charged on Thursday. Kingston man nabbed after shooting. A man was charged with shooting with intent following an incident on Chestnut Lane on Thursday, December 8, 2022. Charged is 25-year-old Romario Beaniman Brown, a carpenter of Charles Street in Kingston 14. Reports from the Denham Town Police are that about 9 a.m., Brown, along with two other men armed with handguns, approached the complainant and opened gunfire at him. The complainant managed to escape and made a report to the police. On Tuesday, Brown was arrested and subsequently charged after he was positively identified. His court date is being finalized. Blacks slapped with multiple charges after shooting in Clarendon. A man has been charged with wounding with intent, unauthorized possession of firearm and ammunition in relation to a shooting incident in Summerfield, Chapelton on Monday, November 28, 2022. Charged is 23-year-old Dwayne Barton, otherwise called Blacks, a landscaper of Sherrington Avenue, Duhaney Park in Kingston 20. Reports are that about 9 p.m., Barton and another man, both armed with firearms, entered the complainant's yard and opened gunfire, hitting him in the leg. Barton and his accomplice then escaped in the area. The police were alerted and on arrival, assisted the complainant to the hospital, where he was admitted in serious but stable condition. An investigation was launched and Barton was arrested and charged on Thursday after he was questioned in the presence of his attorney. His court date has not been finalized. 23-year-old charged with 2 counts of murder, among other charges. A Kingston man has been charged with 2 counts of murder, possession of prohibited weapon, and unauthorized possession of ammunition in relation to an incident that occurred on James Street in Kingston on Monday, September 19, 2022. He is 23-year-old Javon Brown, a laborer of Texter Lane in Kingston. Reports are that about 4 p.m., 2 men were on James Avenue when Brown and 2 other men, armed with handguns, opened a gunfire, hitting them both multiple times. Brown and his accomplice escaped. The police were alerted and an investigation initiated. Brown was subsequently arrested and charged on Friday. His court date is being arranged. Way cleared for trial of soldiers in Keith Clark killing. The way is now clear for the trial of 3 soldiers charged with the killing of accountant Keith Clark in 2010 after the Court of Appeal struck down a ruling of the Constitutional Court. The Constitutional Court had ruled that the certificates of immunity issued to Corporal Odell Buckley, Lance Corporal Greg Tinglin, and Private Arnold Henry, who are accused of killing the businessman, were invalid. But the appellate court has ruled that the impact of the good faith certificates issued in 2016 by then Minister of National Security Peter Bunting is to be decided by the trial judge. The soldiers are charged with the murder of the businessman at his St. Andrew home. The full court has ordered that the criminal trial initiated by virtue of the voluntary bill of indictment originally issued in July 2012 by the Director of Public Prosecutions should be restored to the trial list and be permitted to continue.
I think the ruling vindicates the position which the learned DPP had taken from the very day these good faith certificates were presented in court for the first time, and the way is now clear for the trial to proceed, depending on what happens in the process which takes place before the trial. I think the family of Mr. Keith Clark will be very happy to know that after all this time and all these court proceedings and all these legal arguments, that the way is now finally clear for the trial to go forward.
NCB employee arrested for fraud. The news was informed that a senior employee of the National Commercial Bank was taken into custody Friday afternoon by fraud squad detectives following allegations of fraud at the Ocherios branch. The 35-year-old wealth advisor is alleged to have defrauded US $30,000 or nearly $5 million from the account of a customer. It's alleged that between July and October last year, the NCB employee forged the signature of a customer on a debit instrument and thereafter debited his account and redirected the proceeds to her account as well as those of connecting parties. The amount in question is expected to increase significantly based on an audit being conducted by NCB and its investigators. Policeman found guilty of assaulting female biker. A policeman who was caught on video body slamming a female biker along the Mandela Highway in 2018 was found guilty of assault when he appeared in the St. Catherine Parish Court on Friday. Corporal Owen McCleary is to be sentenced on February 24. It is reported that the biker, Laurie Radlin Moroso, and the policeman got into a dispute after the bike collided with his vehicle on Mandela Highway on August 17, 2018. A video of the incident showed the policeman collaring Moroso and slamming her to the ground. The woman, who became unconscious, was handcuffed and her motionless body dragged along the roadway by the policeman. She was later charged with resisting arrest and malicious destruction of property, but the charges were dismissed by the court following an application by her attorney, Christopher Townsend. The policeman was later charged following a probe by the Independent Commission of Investigations and the Police Inspectorate Unit. Attorney-at-law Christopher Townsend says his client Moroso plans to file a lawsuit against the state. Mixer truck catches fire during clear-up of accident scene. Firefighters in Manchester for a second time responded to an accident scene on the Winston Jones Highway on the outskirts of Mandeville on Friday. Sources say about 1:45 p.m., the fire brigade was called to extinguish a mixer truck being on fire resulting from efforts to separate parts of the ill-fated unit hours after it overturned on the highway. Reports suggest that a torch was being used to carry out the separation when the fire started. Earlier on Friday, firefighters responded to the scene where the truck overturned. The driver of the truck has been hospitalized. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.